I know that everybody feels sorry for me, but we have so much fun.
What truly makes an unforgettable movie? Sure, it can be the actors' Oscar-worthy performances, but a lot of the time, these celebs are upstaged by their epic transformations, especially when those transformations involve body paint. However, having paint applied isn't always the most comfortable experience, and these actors' painful, on-set memories will tell you why.
There's only this much of my own skin showing.
Jennifer Lawrence hasn't been quiet about the 8-hour Mystique process she had to endure while filming X-Men, and we can't really blame her.
Every woman knows is our dream come true.
In the first film, J-Law had to sit on a bicycle seat naked while a crew of 6 or 7 people spent 8 hours painting her every day.
It's like a sleepover, except I'm naked and being painted.
By the end of the night, she wouldn't even be able to get all the paint off. To make things even worse, she started having allergic reactions to the paint. This finally convinced the filmmakers to allow her to wear a bodysuit for the later films, cutting down the makeup process from 8 to 3 hours. Dave Bautista may be a professional wrestler, but nothing prepared him for how difficult sitting in a makeup chair for 5 hours a day would be. After applying prosthetics, the makeup team would spend hours trying to get the right mix of gray, red, and blue paint to cover the prosthetics and any revealing skin. According to Dave, that wasn't even the worst part. The paint was extremely hard to remove and required an entire sauna to get off at the end of the night. At the end of the day, I get in the sauna and 3 guys come in and attack me. With the help of steam pumping hoses, shaving cream, hot towels, and silicone makeup remover, the paint would finally budge.
He's not what you'd expect.
Paul described being transformed into Vision as just brutal. Although he doesn't enjoy complaining and doesn't want to come off as a complaining actor, it was a huge discomfort for him while filming, and the paint even started to wear down and break his skin. However, like Dave, the removal process was far worse. He also had to have a portable sauna built just for him to de-vision. To make things better, he called it his little magical cupboard, and would bring a beer in with him to pass the time. The whole process took about 3 hours.
And I didn't think for a minute what that was actually gonna mean to me physically.
Karen Gillan's days on Guardians of the Galaxy started at 2 a.m. because of her 4-hour painting process. Once the prosthetics were assembled on her face properly, the artists spent hours making sure every part of exposed skin matched the blue of her prosthetics. On top of all the paint, they also airbrushed her with another layer, just to make sure they had everything covered. Another 30 minutes was needed at the end of the day to get all that paint off. Karen described it as claustrophobic, but when it was all said and done, it really helped her get into character. Just like her on-screen sister, Zoe Saldaña was on set bright and early while filming Guardians of the Galaxy. It sucks to have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, and by the time we started shooting, you feel like you've already lived half a day. Becoming Gamora was done using green airbrushed paint and some colored facial makeup. It needed to be put onto any area of her body that wasn't covered by her costume. Listen to her talk about how brutal it was.
The whole coming together of Gamora every morning, that was a little grueling.
The science of the 1930s was not in favor of Buddy Ebsen when he took on the role of Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. He was painted head to toe in metallic paint that sent him to the hospital with lung failure. He was then recast by Jack Haley, who was instead transformed by the paste version of the paint. However, it left Jack with an eye infection and out of commission for a week of filming. Believe it or not, Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort costume was mostly white paint. He'd spend hours in the makeup chair each morning making sure his face was evenly painted. The paint was also used to make his skin look translucent and to draw on the delicate lines on his face and scalp. Although it took over 3 hours, Ralph's treacherous time in the makeup department paid off. Even the child actors were terrified of him.
And you shall be dead.
Gemma Chan is thinking twice about ever taking another role where they need to paint her body. It's all thanks to the process she had to endure while becoming Minerva in Captain Marvel. She was on set every day at 2:45 a.m., where she would spend 4 hours getting airbrushed. That was challenging. I didn't really think it through when I said yes to playing a blue character. I'd think twice about it again. By the end of the film, the makeup was even starting to irritate her skin.
Congratulations.
For Michael Rooker, being Yondu meant having 6 layers of paint airbrushed on him every day. He would have to get on set so early for the 3-hour process that he just started sleeping right in the makeup chair. He soon realized that others like Zoe Saldaña and Dave Bautista had to go through an even worse process than himself, and it eventually started to get easier, but the whole ordeal was still tough.
You just gotta let it go. You can't fight it, right?
Johnny Depp dove right into the process of becoming the Mad Hatter and loved putting together the character, but that doesn't mean the paint application was enjoyable. His character was done up using almost entirely airbrushed paint based on Tim Burton's concept drawings. The process did take hours, but Johnny knew it was all for the greater purpose of making sure his character was the best it could be.
Stop it.
We've all heard how intense Heath Ledger's transformation was for the Joker. His face was covered in actual paint. While it was drying, he was asked to scrunch his face in order to give the effective lines. The makeup process only took about an hour. However, the grueling process came while trying to perfect the imperfect look. It took weeks of trial and error for Heath and his makeup artist. Jim Carrey's makeup process involved prosthetics and a whole lot of green paint on his face, neck, and head. It took Jim Carrey 4 hours to get camera ready each day. The painting was so gruesome and long that it caused Jim Carrey to become irritated and short-tempered with the rest of the cast and crew. Apparently, it drove the actor insane.
Okay.
Like her counterpart, the Tin Man, the Wizard of Oz Wicked Witch actress Margaret Hamilton was sent to the hospital because of the paint used on her. Not only did the copper-based green liquid cause intense skin reactions, but its elements also made her more flammable. And while working with fire props, she burned her face and hands really badly. Michael Keaton's makeup in Beetlejuice might just look like it was splashed on, but very deliberate painting went into making him look just as Tim Burton wanted him to. His face was painted using a mixture of yellow and white, and his eye circles were created using brown and purple paints. Michael says after a day of makeup and rabid acting, he went home beat and exhausted. Ron Perlman's Hellboy transformation was a 4-hour-long adventure. His entire body was painted by hand, including the prosthetics, by his makeup artist, Jake Garber. It was so long that Jake needed to make sure Ron had breaks in between to make the grueling process more bearable. Days where Hellboy had his shirt off took even more time. To get through it, Ron would tell himself, "There are a million guys that wish they were you right now, and there's absolutely no reason you should ever complain." These transformations brought a level of realness to the big screen that just couldn't have been replicated with visual effects. The paint literally becomes a part of the character. However, it was at the expense of the actors having a brutal experience. Do you think there was a way to make these celebs' experiences a bit better? Thanks for watching.